These baskets we're going to raffle off to the community. If you guys take a look over here, pull your checkbooks out, you ready? We got these baskets right here where we need to pay our draft off in our bank for like $330 right? Just to keep our bank. So we're going to be going around raffling these baskets off around the day. And our fiscal money should be coming in October. So we're going to be doing that also. But I guess we can start out. Before we start things off, I called upon my Imami, Muhammadi Bachi Dee is going to come up and he's going to say a prayer for us. We're going to start things off in a good manner. We know that this election is coming up, so we want to do things in a good manner and pray in our own language. We've got to remember our words are holy. So what he's going to do is going to pray and we're going to eat here right after that, and keep thinking of those questions. And we're going to go that way. So if you can have the men stand. Amen.
Oh, Deus deixando na tidão na deixo. Oh, justo. Oh, jitu asto wa haku. Oi kunune sishu. Ni wei nu dan ni when rawa dan. Oh, atna deixo. Dat ku na sish. Oi kunune sishu. Ni wei nu dan ni when rawa dan. Oh, kudarta le kasta ka aho. When a dog nan wo, skutak koku na sku suche riku, diot na adna. Hasi adna, san sachnish, when raka barsh na wanu na sutaka. Ho diot na adna, sku suche riku, na terakan. Jitu kunhuch na such, jitu weed na sapar. Winach na sunahu, adia jitu piraj, shukha with Christo, diak na wait koshte na chichitu, shuchu jiku nakuna he, diak na diak na shuk kapachishtir. In rosi na kanunu anuha. Diok na wait na shtehu na chichitu. Aho jitu na terakan na wa.
Remain standing for the prayer song for the meal song. Elders first. Buffet style. We'll line up, please. Those Frank Phillips, and be sure to mention in your speeches. Then after that, we're gonna pick a question, and you're gonna have 3 minutes to respond to it. So each of you gonna pick a question, and you all get a chance to answer that same question. That's what we're gonna do. So first up, we have Mr. Frank Felix. Let's give it up, give a round of applause for Frank Felix. We got 15 minutes. And Billy H. is going to be taking time, so when you see one of these, just act quick. It's going to go down, it's going to go 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, so just to let you know. Ken, go ahead. So at this time, ladies and gentlemen, Frank Felix is up on the agenda. Frank.
Thank you, Ray. I'll say good evening to all the elders and all the folks here. It's too bad we don't have more people here. These are some real important issues that the four of us are going to be going over tonight. One thing about it, I never was good at writing speeches. And what I say it from the heart. When I tell you something, I really mean it. I've always been a man of my word. Most of you know who I am. I've spent 37 years in law enforcement, so that's quite an accomplishment, I think. And if I say something to you, that's the way it should be, or it's going to be. One thing about, I'm going to apologize, I always get nervous when I speak in front of a lot of sober people. So, bear with me. We can sit here and we can harp on all what's happened in the past and whatnot. I think most of us, especially the elder folks, know what we've been through in the past year or two. I think from this point on tonight, whatever, we need to start building. From this point on, correcting what has gone, we thought gone wrong, and move forward. We can just start pointing at all kinds of different ways. We can do this, we can do that. But I still say that it takes more than one person to correct things. I have this philosophy of more heads are better than one. I honestly believe that sitting down at a table with a few people and discussing some of this stuff, maybe having some subcommittees or whatnot to develop the economic development here, it's not what we want, it's what the community wants. So I think that if whoever is elected here comes before the committee and sits down and says, what are we going to do? What do we want to do? That's where we need to go, instead of trying to have a magic wand and make all the decisions yourself. That doesn't work. When we sit back and talk about services, we're way out here in the boondocks. It seems like Whiteshill's on the end of the food chain. We all know it. When something happens, jump on the phone, try to call an officer. We get better response from McLean County, actually, than we do from our own people here. I've been kind of out of touch with what's going on up there, but we seem to be really having some problems here. I don't know what happened to that contract or whatever, but Whiteshill sure getting left out. We can go on and as far as these services, every time that you need a service, you gotta go put $60 to $80 of gas in the car and drive 64 to 70 miles to go get services. I still say that's wrong. We should have no services coming down here to Whiteshill. And if you need to go see a dentist, you'd be lucky if you can get in to see a dentist. When they get into that IHS contract, they promised us services down here, and we haven't got it. We haven't got it. The price of gas is going up. You got to pay that. You're taking your kids. You got to pack a lunch and feed them along the way. So Whiteshill, and I don't include Twin Buttes on that. We're sure getting the short end of the stick. Those are issues that really need to be addressed. When they make these contracts, they use our head count. We're still used to those stats to get that money, but yet we don't receive the services. And I think that's a real important thing that whoever's elected here needs to concentrate on it. As I said, that my experience, a lot of the older folks know that I've been around here quite a while. I spent 37 years in law enforcement. I'm presently working at the Lecture School. Or incidentally, I apologize for not getting around to your households. We're 2 bus drivers short, so whoever's got a CDL, we need to come to the school, we need to, but I can't get out and get away, so I apologize for that. If you need to talk to me, or see me, call me, or let a family member know, I'll be more than happy to come to your house and visit with you. Accountability. That's kind of a big word, especially this day and age with the mega bucks coming through the tribe, the reservation, all the windfall everyone's had. How do you address that accountability? We can't address it right now because there's no procedures in place. When that piece of pie comes in monthly, there is no way to track it. There's no budget. We're talking about not only the tribal income, but now the oil revenue. That's one of the most important things. A certain percentage of that budget, monthly budget, should be set aside. And I still say that everyone in here, if you're an enrolled member, you should count. You count, your kids count, and your grandchildren count. Everyone should be getting a piece of that pie. And if they planned it right and set this in place, we could. And you would still have enough to cover other services such as housing, roads, social services, law enforcement. But you gotta be there. You gotta be up there. You gotta hear what's going on. I think through my years in law enforcement, I've become one of the grand listeners. Learn more by listening. That I can do. Budgets. Whoever gets in, one of the most important things is the budget. We all say that every year, every time we turn around to these elections, we all hear budgets. I attended a senior meeting the other day, and you still hear the same thing, you know. We don't hear what's coming down from Newtown, and we don't, let's be honest. So we don't know where we're at. All we hear is rumors. When rumors start, that by the time it comes to the next family or the next clan, it's gotten worse. Then by then we're blaming each other, families are bad at each other. So I think whoever gets in there, that's one of the most important things right now, especially now in the LC oil boom. If you ever go from here to Newtown, you'll see trucks galore. So it's here, but now we gotta learn to deal with it. We have to set things in place this term. This term, things are gonna have to be set in place that affects your kids, your grandchildren. And if we don't start investing and saving a little bit, we're gonna be really left out. Economic development, kind of a big word for a little town. We've lived here, we've never seen anything really change. Our store, kids and food here in the village, real small in comparison to a couple of the other districts. So there again, we're really getting left behind. But I still say that it takes more heads than one to sit down at the table and discuss this. I helped a gentleman the other day who broke down on the road and stopped and visit with him a little bit and started talking. He said, "Oh, Frank, I hear you're running for council." I said, "Well, yeah, I threw my hat in the race." He just started going on and he brought up five subjects. There's this little guy, this incredible, he threw 5 subjects at me that made a lot of sense. So I think that whoever is in there needs to come to the table and start visiting with these people and see what's important to Whiteshield, not to Newtown or Fort Harris, because we see where they're going. They're leaving us in the dust. But I see another thing, and this is just a thought. I would like to see us put our enrollment cards to work for us. Tribal enrollment cards. What's to say we color code those cards? And we go, say we have to go to the tribal building, the agency, or IHS, get some services. You pull that code out and say, the cashier will say, oh, you're from White Shield. We gotta give you a discount because you traveled all this way for services. So we gotta help you. And I know that can be done. So every district would color code their enrollment card to know where you're from. I heard a candidate up there say, well, we have all the people up here, we should keep the money here. Whoa, that was pretty bad, because we should still come when the funding comes in. So anyway, most of you know who I am. Like I said, I got a meeting Saturday night coming up. You want us to come and sit, and I will certainly listen to your comments and your interests. And starts at 6 o'clock Saturday evening. I got some flyers out. If you need some more, holler. And like I say, if you have some issues that you'd like to see or discuss with me, call me up, let a family member know. I'll come out, I'll visit with you. And if I'm elected, most of you know I'll work very hard for you. If I say I'm going to be there, I'll be there. I've seen all the problems down here. I'll listen to anybody. So that's why it's very important that whoever is in there this time around is really sincere on helping everyone, not just one family or the other. And when we sit down at the table to try to decide which way some of these procedures or resolutions are going to go, it's got to involve everybody. And especially whoever gets there's got to really fight for White Shield in order to make us catch up. We're like way behind. We can all see that. Causing a lot of problems amongst families and whatnot. So we got to start pulling back together. Maybe once in a while we can pass each other, kind of wave a little bit now and then. We stop doing that. We're a small community. We should all be pulling together. So anyway, Saturday evening, 6 o'clock. Be here, whatever, feel free to come, voice your concerns or whatever. And like I said, also just hang out, whatever. So whatever. Like I say, I promise to work very hard for you if I am elected. It doesn't matter to me who you are. You're still one of us. Everybody counts. So that's about all I have. Thank you.
Next up on the agenda is Tina, the famous Tina Turner. Let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you all for letting me, giving me this opportunity to stand in front of you and go through all the things that I've done in the past years and what I think that we can do for our future. Okay, I have my education up here. I have a master's degree in information technology. I have a business degree. My bachelor's is business. My other experience that I have is I have a tax preparer. I've done individual tax prep, small business, and nonprofit. The information that I handed out to everybody is my proven leadership. I have a I've worked on the Century 21 healthcare report. That, a copy of that is in there. I've been the strategic planner for the last 4 years for our community. I helped our community develop a community strategic plan, and everybody was included in that. We had IHS included, the school was included, all of our organizations in the community was included. I helped with the Riverfront Development Corporation, which is a nonprofit who doesn't have our tax exempt status yet, but we do have a nonprofit in the community that we can use. And I just give you examples of the things that I have proven that I have done in the last 4 years. The community playgrounds, I understand this community has tried to build playgrounds for the last 30-something years. Me and my family, we put some playgrounds up, and I put that information in that packet as well, and it has a little bit of detail about it. The community food pantry, I had the opportunity to take the leadership in our food pantry for a few months. And all these things that I'm talking about, I only took leadership in those projects. It took a lot of people to make those things happen, such as the food pantry. If we didn't have Gary and his staff, that food pantry we would have never gotten food out to people. All I did was just take the leadership. Also on the community playgrounds, it took community people to come up and say, we need playgrounds for our community. All I did was I took that information, put it into a plan, presented it to the Riverfront Development Corporation. They are the ones that said, yes, let's do this. Our tribal representative at the time found the money, and then we did it. A couple other things that I have in there is the USDA grant application. Over the years, we've had flooding in our community. I took the initiative to try to find resources for people because we have poor housing in our community. We have people who have issues with mold and safety access. We have people that need roofing and siding. I took the initiative to try to get us a grant for that for at least 10 people in our community. And you'll see in that packet that there's only a few things that we missed on that, but we will be able to get that next year. It's only some minor things. I took the initiative on the State Historical Society grant that helped Juan D. get a cultural research room at the Cultural Center. Other leadership roles that I've been involved in is I was a member of the regional response team through EPA when I was the emergency manager for the tribe. I was a member of the Tribal Association on Solid Waste and Emergency Response. I put those two up there because I wanted you all to know that at that level, I actually helped change policy just because I asked what those things were. And I asked, how does it help our tribe? So on this one right here in particular, we had I don't know if everybody knows much about federal government, but what they do typically is they sit around the table, they decide what kind of funding they want to give to the tribes, and then they send it out. Well, one year a hazardous materials planning grant came across my desk, and they didn't have equipment included into the grant, so I told them that we didn't want it. I said, why should we do this grant when we're just going to fail? And so at that point, it made them nervous because no tribe has ever said that they were going to do something that they have been asked or just giving money out. So some of my peers in other tribes that were in my position, they found out and they didn't want the grant either. So with all of us saying that we needed equipment money, they changed the grant so that we would take it. Now, all of you guys know, I'm sure, that how hard it must be for me to stand before you all and tell you about all my accomplishments, or even just this little bit, because typically a River women do not do that. We do not feel comfortable standing up in front and saying anything good about ourselves, because we expect people to know those things, and we expect people to see it and just know it. That's how I was brought up. So, to stand up here and try to form the words, to tell you, I did this, I'm only doing this because I want to prove something to you. I want to prove that, number one, I can organize things, I can stand before you, and I can tell you things that I know are true. Also, I want you to know that none of these things could have ever been possible if I did them by myself. Nothing worthwhile, nothing that is big and can make change. Not one person can do that alone. Not one at all. And then I also want to show you that I have been in leadership positions that were at the tribal, similar to the tribal business level, tribal council business level. I put in here community board member. I was asked in '98, and I served till 2000. And I learned a lot from our community back then. And I wanted you to know that I have served on a community board. This Mountain National Forest American Indian Program Manager position that I held, I would have constituents just like you all. If I were the tribal representative for our community, you guys would be my constituents. I had constituents in the Forest Service at the forest supervisor level, and I was the person that was doing things like recruitment and retention for all Indian people in the Forest Service. And they called us Special Emphasis Program Managers. Well, yeah, we were special, right? That was an experience and a half, but what I got to do was I got to go to all the districts and hear about all the things that Indian people were being mistreated. And I was just out of college, and I was responsible for this. And I learned a lot of things. I learned that those people that were my constituents, they saw how tough it was for me, and they saw what was happening to us, so we all came together, and we all helped each other, and we did things that would help all Indian people in the Forest Service. We changed policy, we did cultural awareness training for people, and we also, I'm going to mention the Mystic Mountain a little bit, because one of my economic development ideas is to have some tourism in the community. I'm going to speed it up a little bit, and then I have to print these off, but my ideas are all have to do with how we can better our community together. And I know that the rest of the people that are running say the same things I've heard of me to have regular scheduled meetings. I support that. My idea is that we will have a housing board representative come and present to us what's going on in housing. All of our boards that I mentioned here. One of my ideas is to have a local business center. That's the same kind of thing that Frank was mentioning, that all of our resources would be here in White Shield. And these are my ideas: housing office, social services, economic development office, recreation and tourism. We can have a mobile home park, which I've already done. I've already put some effort into trying to figure out how to get a mobile home park. We can have apartments, a youth facility, and projects. My biggest thing that I wanted to bring to White Shield was jobs. We could build an all-nations drug and alcohol rehabilitation center. Listed here are all the types of jobs that we could bring: administrative, technology, psychology, sociology, care. We have a lot of people in our community that are caregivers already, and I know a lot of people in this community that no one understand healing practices, and they're more towards a holistic approach where you take the whole environment, not only just the person, but you do things for that situation, everything involved. I guess it's been too much time in the beginning here, but what my plans are is that we would have people, we've already got a plan, we just need to implement it. We have a lot of issues in our community that are at the tribal business level that need to be addressed. And I overheard some people talking, and their question was, how many of our people that are running have a report with our tribal business, our tribal chairman? I had a meeting with our tribal chairman on September 2nd. It was Labor Day weekend. These are the things that we talked about. These are the things that the information that he shared with me. I asked him what he thought about me running, if I would bring my projects to him, how would he feel about that drug and alcohol rehabilitation center, and he thought it was an excellent idea. He thought that it would be perfect. It would not only be for our reservation, it would be for all nations, because we don't have something like that. We don't have a place for people who have drug and alcohol problems. I asked him if he knew about the increase in our drug and alcohol problem, and he did know. I have a bunch of, I don't want to take more time from the other candidates, but I do have, I can print these slides out, but I do have a lot of information in here about the questions that were asked. I know what the community asked for. I know what we want and need. And I just want you to know that if you elect me for your representative, I will make sure that we have what we need in White Shoals. My biggest concern that I have of our community is we have women in the other two segments, Manbury and Newtown, that are going to be running, and I can guarantee you if those women win, the two people that I know, they will have their stuff together. They will have the everything that their community needs, because they're go-getters, and I know them very well. And I just wanted you to know that it's time that we stand up and we get what we need for our community. I'll try to wrap it up here then. My campaign dinner is going to be on Sunday. I would like to invite you all there to come and ask questions, because we do have time constraints here. I knew that was going to happen. I can go over these slides more about my ideas. I would like to be able to answer your questions. That time is for you and your family to come and share a meal with us. And that's going to be Sunday at 1 o'clock. The other thing that I want to just mention real quick is our District 4 representatives. They are Warner, Conklin, and Onstead. Onstead has, I believe I put a copy of what his role with our district is. He's tribal relations. I haven't asked him to come on Sunday. I haven't heard a response back from him. I thought that was interesting, but Senator, is it Warner? Is the senator, or is it the representative? Anyway, he's going to be here Sunday if you want to ask him more questions or find out more about who they are. Thank you for listening.
Okay, at this time, what we're going to do, we're going to auction off another basket here. Within this basket, we got a couple pots.
Greetings, everybody. Friends, neighbors, uncles, they're all here. Put a smile on your face, Rover. Hey. Everybody all knows who I am. I want to say my mom, dad, are Eugene, Marcella. Six sisters, one brother. I've been with the community president for 3 years. And, did a lot of work for, try to accomplish a lot of stuff for Whitesville and try to get them, our building fixed up, or get making it look good anyway, you know, it looks pretty nice. Still gonna finish it. I just, my deal is for the White Shield is to try to be a representative for you guys and try to be a strong leader for you to get what us guys are not getting here in White Shield. That's representation. I think I can, I'd be the one to stand up for you guys and anything that needs to be addressed, come to me and I will go to them. I feel like I can be that person to run for you and help you guys anything I can. I've always done in the past, you guys all know. And I worked for the road department for a while. Fixed the store, got the store rolling, and that was one of our main accomplishments, get it going. We didn't need that store, and it's good that it's rolling. And the other thing is congratulations on the community board, that's pretty good. It's got things going here. Things rolling for the community. I'll start off with leadership, getting involved. I lived here all my life. I served my community. It's important to me. I'm willing to listen to the concerns of people who live in Whitesville. My concerns need to be heard and will be visible in your community. Be here all the time. I'm not afraid of hard work. And I'm not afraid of making hard decisions either. I have to. Service to the Whitesville community. It's important for me to understand what the members of the Whitesville community sees in major problems of our community, our residents. Community newsletters, scheduled community meetings with the elderly and the youth, hosting community events. My platform goal is physical accountability, fairness, service to the community, opportunity for all community members. What are the major issues facing the community? Service to our elders, preserving our culture, healthcare, education, children, community, housing, growing our community through economic development, new jobs, roads, infrastructure, improving our quality of life on the Saanich people who reside on the reservation and off the reservation. Tribal roads, Route 18, help work to ensure safe roads and access. See how the roads are all tore up. Need help on that. Tribal roads, I'll work toward supporting the effort to ensure the state of North Dakota achieves the reservation improvement and infrastructure. Our reservation oil revenues will generate $1 million in years alone in the state of North Dakota. Those revenues should be located to reservation roads, improvements, infrastructure. Tribal trust settlements. 41 tribes settled their mismanagement cases with the government. Spirit Lake, Standing Rock, 48.9 million. Tribal trust settlements. What about MHA? What do we have for tribal officials done to pursue our tribal claims? We have claims pending on, and I will advocate the proper settlement amount. Propose that settlement funds are not being squandered. This means that settlement funds should go to the community projects, be invested, shared with the tribal members for capital payment. Oil gas development. We all know our tribe is rich in oil and gas resources. And oil development is the source. Nearly 500 wells are actively producing on the reservation. Just a little note, we get $11 million a month. What has the oil and gas development done for Whiteshell community? We have a sign on the senior center. Is that what we have to show for gas and oil? Who's looking out for our people? No one. There are major jobs, but they are not in our community. We need employment opportunity for our young people. Jobs for our future. I propose to create a training center for Whiteshell through grants, partnership with the community college, workforce development. Why? This is a shortage in skilled labor in our reservation and in the state of North Dakota. Many of our young people do not have the skills that we need in our labor market. Education is the key to our future as a community. It is the key to good job paying, keeping our tradition and culture alive. Gas and oil. You need a leader who is not only prepared to deal with success and benefits of oil gas development, but also who can address the cost of development. What are the long-term costs? Continued housing shortage, increasing costs of housing, construction, environmental concerns, water pollution, increased drug use and its consequences, tribal road maintenance. Tribal road safety, including accidents, and lack of regulations, and truck industry. Oil and gas development. I support continued oil and gas development on our lands, but my primary concern is not the oil company. We have many people on the payroll: lawyers, lobbyists, tribal consultants, corporate staff. Who do we care about? I care about Whiteshell community. My concern is for our tribal members and the Whiteshell community. As a representative, my compass will always be guided by what is the best interest of our people and by what impact of the Whiteshell community. My goal is your representative to plant the seed of prosperity and work relentlessly and secure a future for our children, community, our elders, our leaders before us, your future for our children and our elders. Together we make this happen in the Whiteshell community. I respectfully ask for your vote on September 18th as your next East Segment Tribal Representative. And I'm having a dinner tomorrow on the 14th. And I'm inviting all of you. And if you have any questions for me or stop me, I'm sure we'll listen. And come in and enjoy a good meal, hot meal. It'll be at 6:30, it'll be 8 to 7. And well, I think this is about it. I sure like to hear your interest, your concerns, of anything that needs to be addressed towards me. I'll surely listen. Thanks for your time, and see you all at the polls, and I'd like to, good luck on everybody here.
Thanks, Bert. What we do is auction just basket out. It's a Halloween theme. Give it up for Fred Fox.
Before I begin, I'd like to send my condolences to the family members that have loved ones that are sick in the hospital. Our thoughts and prayers are with you, because there is a couple of people that are in the hospital and not doing good. I also want to thank the elders for being here. You believe in White Shield, and that's good. I want to thank you for the teachings you have taught all of us. I want to thank you for the language that you keep. You're the keepers of our language. You teach us the respect that we show today, so I thank you for that. I want to thank the veterans also. There's a lot of veterans in here. I want to thank you. I want to thank you for enlisting in the service, spending time, hard time, grueling years in the service. It's hard. You showed me an example. That is the reason why I enlisted in the United States Navy and was honorably discharged. I also want to thank the candidates. You know, these candidates, they all do good in the community. Martina, she worked relentlessly on the playground. My kids use that playground. I want to thank you. I want to thank Frank. I pass him every morning when you're going to work. I can time mine if I'm late or early to see where Frank's at. If he's turning by that road lantern, I'm really late. Thank you, Frank, for doing that bus route. Bernard, he's a hard worker. I haven't seen a funeral that he's never been at. Being there, helping that family, you know, digging the grave for them, being there for them. I want to thank you, Bernard, for that. These candidates are all very good. I just wanted to say that. I graduated from Minot State University with my bachelor's degree. I graduated from the University of Mary with a master's degree. I'm currently employed with the 3 affiliated tribes as the Energy Department Administrator. I was also the Natural Resource Administrator for a couple of years also. My most important concern today in my platform for this election is elders. I think a lot about the elders. I hear stories from my mom about the senior center at lunch, everybody eating, having a good time, visiting. You know, that's good. I like that. You know, every summer and every Christmas, our elders get $500. $500, that's it. You know, they need more. They need to be taken care of. You know, that's $500 ain't much today. I'm a strong supporter of the youth. You know, our youth being a lot. They're our future here in White Shield. You know, we have a Boys and Girls Club, which is awesome. I think the Boys and Girls Club is doing a good job. We need to start investing more money into our youth programs. Let's keep those youth busy, keep them active, because they're good kids in school. You know, they want to learn, and you see that from these kids. We have some of the smartest kids here in Whiteshill, and I believe that. Education is a tool. Very important though, very important tool. That's what I was taught. Here in Whiteshill, we need to recruit the highest qualified educators today. Make sure our kids, our children succeed in the future. Let them go to college. Let them go to a technical college. Let them spread their wings and get their education. You know, the tribe needs to make an effort to provide that money, that assistance, because our kids are smart. They need that financial assistance, that responsibility the tribe needs to give them, to send them to school. Fiscal responsibility. Want to hear about that? Today, tribe's making $4.5 million in oil and gas royalties a month. $5 million in oil and gas taxes a month. They've received $72 million to date since 2008 in oil and gas royalties. 120 million in oil and gas tax revenue. It's only going to get larger. We need to practice financial responsibility. This is your money. You know, I was listening to, visiting with Bernard, you know, we were watching those platforms over in the Northern Lights in Newtown. Man, still at good comment. I believe in 1984 was the last referendum vote on one of the dockets for burial fund. Why aren't we doing referendum voting today? This is your money. You should decide where this money goes, how it's kept. Control that spending. This is your money. Referendum voting, you need to make that decision, not the council. It's your money. Permanent fund. Today there's a permanent fund with the 3 affiliate tribes. There's $25 million in the permanent fund. Permanent fund is for the projects the tribe has. The growth fund is for the children, the youth. And once they build up that permanent fund and growth fund, they're going to use the interest off of that. I'm a strong supporter of that. We need to put money aside. There's different reservations, tribes that are billionaires by putting money and putting it aside and using the interest off of those funds. Southern Ute Tribe, they're a very good model, very good example of how to use fiscal responsibility and use the interest from that money. Put it away. The casino today makes $1.5 million in revenue. $1.5 million in revenue. Where does that money go? It goes to Shakopee. It goes to a loan. The majority of that $1.5 million goes to a loan, and we're supposed to be one of the richest tribes in the nation, Indian country. But all the revenue that the casino makes is to pay down the debt. Today they're doing the hotel expansion, $12.5 million. The tribe invested $12.5 million. It was one of the first projects that was ever funded by the tribe. Off-reservation tribal members. We usually forget about those guys, but when it's voting, oh, smokes, boy, we're calling them right away. Going down to Bismarck or going down to Fargo, you know. What about them? Are they the only ones that get a call every 4 years, every 2 years? They need help. They need help with rent. It's expensive today. With the oil and gas development in North Dakota, very expensive. Rent is very high. Healthcare, very high. They need assistance. They're the first ones that need help on the outside. Healthcare. Healthcare is a big issue. Good would not be Elwood's facility. We've promised that for over 50 years. We got it. We need the money though to keep it going. We need the money to put the infrastructure for housing. Keep those qualified doctors, nurses, professionals here. We need a doctor here in White Shore. We need a doctor here in White Shore. I will fight to get a doctor here in White Shore. We need a doctor, a physician assistant or a nurse practitioner, something that is stable here. We need that. I was visiting my Uncle Keith, 80s. He's pretty sick. He has to travel all the way to Bismarck. He's not feeling good. Drives himself too. That's not good. We need to take care of our elders. We need that doctor here. Community development, economic development here in White Shore. We need it today. Heard one of the candidates talk about everything's up in Newtown. Everything. Over here by the Powell Grounds, remember that? Got old. We need a new one. Ladies Auxiliary need to take part in that. That's what's happening today. They're starting the plans for a new Legion and Ladies Auxiliary building. That's a great idea. Let's have it. Let's get it. Preserving our tribal language, really important. The school does a lot, invested a lot of money. Now we have an individual, Wamdi, has his master's degree in language. You know, that's something we're making an effort into keeping our language alive. Let's keep this language alive. Let's invest money. Let's get all our kids to learn our language, learn who we are. Last thing I want to talk about before my time is up is responsible energy development. I am the oil and gas director for the three affiliated tribes. We talk about oil because it's the number one thing here in the reservation. One thing we need to start doing is investing money in developing our own resources. We need to keep more of that barrel of oil. Instead of 18%, let's take 100. Today there's an oil and gas agreement with the state of North Dakota. The state takes 50% on trust properties. How many acres of trust properties are there in the reservation? 530,000 acres. They take 50% of. We should be taking 100%. It's our minerals, it's our land. This is all they left us with. We're down to 1 million acres, probably less than that due to the 1910 Homestead Act. That's all we get. But they said, hey, you can have 20% on the fee. 20% on the fee. Wow. After you took it away from us? Crazy. We need to strengthen our oil and gas codes. It's one thing we're working on right now. Yes, there's bad things that go on with oil out there. Yes, there are spills. Yes, there's contamination. We need responsible developers out there. They need to be responsible for their actions. I want to keep going a couple more minutes in it. Return on the lakeshore. 23,000 acres around this lake stock we have. 23,000. 1952, they told three affiliate tribes, we're going to return those excess lands back to you. Where are they at? They're not here. We can't even camp down there anymore. It has to be in a marina or a recreation site. Where's those 23,000 acres? We need to start developing these acres. We need to have a marina down here. We can do endless possibilities. Tribal code of ethics. We need to establish a tribal code of ethics. We have a lot of oil and gas opportunities out there, but we need to strengthen our ethics on our Tribal Business Council. Also, our employees. We need to have ethics inside there. Tribal water rights. You know, the Army Corps is charging a fee for storage of our water. We were here, time immemorial. We were here before the state of North Dakota. Our treaties say that. The treaty said we were here in 1851. We signed that treaty. What year did the state become a statehood? Way after 1851. We were here before, but they're charging us a fee to store water in our lake. We own the Missouri River. We need to fight for our water rights. This is our water rights. It's ours. Tribal law enforcement. Frank talked about contract monies are not enough. We don't have oil and gas development. We need more money. We need more money. These contract dollars aren't enough in the 638 contract based on population. Oh, what about oil and gas population? That's a lot more. We're not funded for that. Thank you very much.
Okay, this is what we're going to do at this time. We're going to draw a question out of the bucket. In the beginning, this is what we did. As you may know, we had you write down questions that pertain to the candidates. So we're going to pick a question out from each candidate. You guys got 3 minutes to respond to it. We'll just go by order, how you drew it. The first question is here. We made sure we screened them. They're legitimate question. Nothing off the wall. What do you think about Superman or whatever like that? Crazy. These are legitimate questions for the candidates. Okay, for the first question right here, it says, with all the housing break-ins, stealing TVs, threatening and harassing people on cell phones, shooting and poisoning of pets, what would you do to make these people responsible for these malicious acts? Malicious acts. Go, Frank, that phone's dead. That phone. Thanks on it. 3 minutes. Keep track. Watch Kim. She's gonna let you know if you got 1 minute. Okay, Frank, fire away.
Okay, that's a very serious one. Going back to law enforcement, as Fred said, federal funds come in to Fort Berthold with their contract. Just like most of the other contracts, they're underfunded. And we see that right here in our community. You try to call an officer once, you'd be lucky if you see one in 3 days. I always thought of contracting with McLean County. McLean County is here right away. Mr. Don Sargent has no problem working with the tribe, nor does the state's attorney, Ladd Erickson. Just before I left law enforcement, we were going to do a pilot program with the counties. We were going to set up a test program here. We were going to station a county officer, anything to try to make it work so we had coverage. I look at it this way: if you're laying in the ditch, or your kid is laying in the ditch dying, do you care if that police officer that rolls up is an Indian, or white, or Chinese, or whatever? Don't matter. As long as he's qualified and knows his job, that's what counts. And I still say that's really important. We need the coverage. We need them here. But that goes right back to this group again. Whoever gets on there, we should have somebody in the judicial committee. That's where it starts. That's where it's head of law enforcement. We need to make the judicial committee aware of what's going on here in White Shield. And we can go right to the school and you can see the property missing, the graffiti, the broken windows, what goes on. You can come out here at midnight, you can hear them racing up and down this road. Who do you call? We don't even have Ghostbusters here to call, so we're in tough shape, really are. So that's a really important one, but like I say, whoever gets on here should make it a point to try to get involved with judicial. That's where it starts. They are the overseers of law enforcement. But I strongly believe we need to partnership with the county. I know there's other counties, there were 6 counties involved in Port Berthold, but McLean County is the only one that wishes to work with us. And I think we should really take a serious look at that. At least we would have coverage here. Like I say, if you're sick or somebody's really having problems, you need somebody now. You can't wait for days or whatnot. We had an incident happen here a couple of weeks ago. We called for an investigator. It's a month and 1 week, we still haven't seen one yet. So that's unheard of. I placed a couple calls to judicial, never got a call back yet, so that's why I say it's really important, whoever here get involved in that judicial issue. I understand the chief is running for Mandaree District. I don't know, he's got an acting, but that's still no excuse. It's not to leave us out in out hanging out to dry here. We still need services, so I guess that's my thoughts on it. Thank you.
Thank you.
In the packet that I handed out, the Bartlett and West, this is a proposal that cost us $16,600 that needs to be paid for. This is a plan to put a mobile home park by the senior center. And that mobile home park is earmarked for law enforcement, doctors, nurses, and teachers. There's a lot more within the space over there that at first they thought that it would only be just those homes or those positions, but there's enough space, I think, for maybe 4 more homes, 4 mobile home or double wides, and the rest are single. I should have put the whole thing in here, but I didn't want to inundate you with all this stuff. Once we have housing, then it would be easy to contract law enforcement with McLean County. That's the problem. There's no place for them to live. The other thing that I would do after implementing the housing project is people have expressed their concerns and their ideas about having a neighborhood watch. So I would make sure that was implemented. The other thing is we need more security in the area. And so I would hire more security. Thank you.
Be very specific to the question and answer the question. I'll read it. It says, with all the housing break-ins, stealing TVs, threatening, harassing the people on cell phones, shooting, poisoning on pets, what would you need to make these people responsible for these malicious acts? Murder? 3 minutes?
Neighborhood watch would be some of it. Like our police officers, we only have one police officer here. I think we should have at least 2 police officers. We should have some kind of a place where we can put them, hold them. Whoever this person may be is doing these acts or breaking in. We have a holding facility. We should have some kind of a form of jail. And a curfew would help too, you know. If you had a curfew, somebody that would, we didn't have one time, a long time ago, we used to have like a 10:30 curfew for all school students, and that would keep some of that on. And maybe to have our police officers, you know, walk patrol, move around, instead of sitting in one place idling. That would be helpful to that too. That'd be it right there.
Thank you, Bernard.
Well, addressing law enforcement is a pretty easy issue. With break-ins, your prank phone calls. Not too sure about prank phone calls. Just put a block on your phone, I suppose, or change your number. But with break-ins, it's a serious serious problem. We do need more law enforcement officers. No, that's easy. What we need to do is start paying a little higher wages to our law enforcement officers. They're very important people. We need to increase that pay, the salary, for the duties that they do. I mean, you're in life-threatening situations every day, every night. There is actual convicts that just came out of prison in our reservation. Our officers need to be paid a high wage because their lives are in danger. We need to put money for more officers. You heard it, two officers here in White Shore. We need 2 officers. That needs to get done. We need to set aside more money and make the law enforcement chief more responsible for our White Shore community. We also have the community board. They need to start creating ordinances. Community board is just like a city council. You can create these ordinances. Where's the curfew? We need a curfew ordinance. We need different ordinances developed in our White Shore community. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. The next questions for the candidates here. We'll mix it up. Take a lot of them. To the candidates, do you think the past administration did a good job as far as fairness and community growth? And what would you do different? Frank?
I guess that's a question we're all sitting here looking at, past administration. I still say that we're not going to sit here pointing fingers at anybody or anything. We need to move on from right now. Whoever is elected needs to get on with those problems. We all see what they are, what they're lacking, and go from there. I do believe that we need to get more people involved. Going right back to that same thing again. It's very important, I guess, for this community board to be involved in these things. The one person with the magic wand doesn't work. We found that out. But we need to move on. We need to be able to sit down at the table and talk and discuss some of these issues in a good way. And that's the only way I can see it happening, because we're such a small community and we really can't afford to be fighting each other, fighting amongst families. We gotta get going here. We're gonna get left behind further than we are now. So I think that I'm not worrying about the past administration, whatever they did wrong. We need to start building right now and move forward. Thank you.
We'll up, I'll read your question for you real quick. Technical difficulties. Do you think the past administration did a good job as far as fairness and community growth? And what would you do differently?
Fairness and community growth, huh? Well, the past administration. Well, I've been in the community for 4 years as the grant coordinator and planner, so I did not have much of a privilege to know what was going on at the administrative level. I was down here. What I would do differently, I'm a very detailed person. I've been a planner my entire life. As far as doing things differently, I would organize the community by committees. I would have local services. Instead of us having to go up to Newtown, I would require that every staff member in White Shore had a training line or in their budget, that they're able to, so that they would be able to learn their job better, or if they wanted to have, we have limited jobs here. Maybe they wanted to learn something different and so they would have a budget to be able to better their skills and abilities. I would try to figure out a way for people to get to Newtown so that they can have jobs. I've talked to a lot of people, and that is one of the constraints that our community has. We need to create jobs here. So I would focus a lot of my time and energy on that and organizing people. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Berger.
You want to repeat that question again?
Okay, Berger, do you think the past administration did a good job as far as fairness and community growth? And what would you do different?
Well, I don't like pointing fingers either. I kind of want to be positive, want to move forward, and my deal is to, if somebody's doing wrong, you know, they should be confronted, and I ain't the one to be that, I guess. You could learn from their mistakes, I guess, to better the community. As far as economic, what's going on here in White Shell, yeah, we got the store. I was talking about the store. We got our path, bike path. We never did have. Geez, I can't say too much about economic development here. And you all can see our old historical buildings that we do have. We put siding on them, shingles, same old houses. That's what we need, you know. As far as down south, we've got the wall villages there. We don't have anybody in them. Few houses here and there are FEMA trailers, you know. That's basically your new housing, and how would I do it better would be to build more houses, have some kind of a program where we can, where everybody will all work together and build a house, and wherever find a place where we can put these houses. And geez, we got a lot of carpenters, we got a lot of people that, you know, in our workforce that know how to do things. I myself do, you know. I would try to create, you know, affordable houses. That's what I would do. There's a lot of young people growing up, and I know they're eventually going to have kids. Our kids are growing up, they want to come back. Our relatives, as far as funerals, powwows and stuff like that, we should have some kind of a hotel for them, you know, or for the visitors or people that come back home. They need a place to stay and they don't have no place to stay, so I'd recommend something like that.
Thank you, Berger.
Well, I'm not here to criticize anyone for what they did. I'm not here to point fingers either. You know, every day is a new day, and today is a new day. We need to identify all our tribal lands here in White Shell. We have a community-based White Shell segment. We need to identify what is tribal, what is allotted. Once we get our tribal land situated, we need to start zoning our areas. Once we zone our areas and identify where our suitable areas are for development, such as housing, or say for instance a new Legion auxiliary building, a museum, or different things that we want to start building on, then we can identify these areas once we zone our entire White Shell segment. Once this is done, we need to form an economic development planning committee form this committee where they can start planning with the community board to start thinking of ways to develop around Whiteshow. We're Native Americans. Everybody likes to wonder what Native Americans do. Do you guys still live in teepees? You know? This is the best resource we have. We know the culture, we know the language. Why not set up a tour? Set up a marina. Do storytelling. Do dancing. Do singing. Every summer. Charge people to come in. If we work together, this can be done. A marina is an excellent idea, I believe. We have the water right here. We have a good recreation. We can do it ourselves, Whiteshow community. Let's move forward and start one. You know, they start talking about riverboat gaming. Really tough issue, you know. There was always talk about, well, you know, they put it in the papers about riverboat gaming. What do we, you know, how is that going to operate? How's that compact going to be? How's that gaming compact going to be? You know, we'd love to take that. Riverboat gaming to every marina. Whiteshow's been used. Wherever, partial. Move that casino to every location of the reservation for one day. Have a restaurant, have gambling, dock it at the marina. Charge people for other events around that. So it could be done. Expand our store. We can do our own developments. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. The next questions to the candidates. Is there a future for Whiteshow or the oil? Frank?
I believe there is. That's why I stressed a little bit earlier that this is really important right now. We may not be in the heart of oil country right now, but I still say that as enrolled members, we should all be counted. And if the oil is coming in, there needs to be a budget. We should all be included in that. Everyone in here, your kids, your grandchildren, something should be set in place so everyone benefits and gets a piece of that pie. So I do believe that even though we're not got oil rigs sitting around us down here, we're still involved in it. We should be. We really need to look at that, and the way to do that is to set up these budgets, line items, so we're all included, everyone's included. And that goes for the people that live off the reservation. A lot of them are working and having hardships, going to school, so they should benefit from that too. So that's kind of my thoughts with that, even though we don't have the semis running through here like Newtown and Mandaree and Marshall, but as enrolled members, we should still count. We should still bank on that and try to work on it so we all benefit from it. Thank you.
It is my understanding that we do have some tribal land that's in the water, I guess, right, Fred? The Solstice is looking at drilling. They're a wildcat company that has their proposal to Aberdeen waiting for signature to come to our community. But I think the real question is, that needs to be answered is, does the community want oil and gas here? I think once that question's answered, whether if it has to do with our tribal land or our lotties, then it would be up to our representative to make sure that happens. Thanks.
Thank you, Tina. Bert?
look at it as, right over there is turmoil, Newtown. You gotta look at what's going on in Newtown, Mandarin, look at their roads, look at their, the criminal thing, the whole element, the law enforcement, everything, roads. And Whiteshell is blessed because we don't have that. We should learn from their mistakes so we can have something to follow. When we get it, and it comes here, it's going to eventually come here. We got to learn from somebody. We might as well learn from their mistakes so we can have something in place, you know. And that's what I think. I think, you know, that eventually it is going to come. And there's some people that do have it. Well, you know, some things are. People are more fortunate than others, but it is going to come. And we need to look at that kind of a thing, focus on what it is that they're doing wrong, and go with it and learn from that mistakes or whatever they're doing. That's it.
Thank you, Bernard. The question is there oil here in Whiteshell? Yeah, there's oil here in Whiteshell. Do you remember the Bear's Tail field over by Pete Coffee's? Do you remember the Rob field? It's actually still producing, but it's a sour oil. It comes from a higher formation, a shallower formation called the Ducro and the Bird Bear formation. These formations are not like the Bakken, where the Bakken is a shale formation and they do hydraulic fracturing to frack that rock. These other formations are pools of oil. Yeah, there's pools of oil here in Whiteshell. In the early 80s and the late 70s, there was a seismic study that was done here, over here by the lake here in Whiteshell, and this was the best place for oil exploration, but these were for pools of oil. The pools follow these old river channels, and that's where the best oil was. Does anybody remember in 1997, there's a company called Elenco from Alberta, Canada. Anyways, they put a bid on the reservation, $15 an acre over Mandarin, 35 acres here in Whiteshell. It's kind of a mystery why a company from Alberta, Canada would come in and want to lease Whiteshell acreage. They've seen something here, so there is something here. That agreement fell, and I don't know if it was political or not, but that was one of the first agreements that the tribe was going to enter into in 1997. Today there's agreement over here in Whiteshell for 17,000 acres, and yeah, it's your choice. Whiteshell's choice for oil and gas development, but there is a lot of acres in there, allotments that belong to individual owners, landowners. If they want to develop their minerals, it's the responsibility of the federal government, the BIA, Department of Interior. That's their decision. If it's on tribal land, yes, it's our decision. But when they start drilling on allotee minerals, it's up to the landowner and the federal government, BIA, BLM, who you have it. But today, the agreement here for Whiteshell is to drill 3 oil exploration wells, test wells, here in Whiteshell. The good thing about this agreement is that it gives ownership into these wells. We will have carried working interest into every well that is with oil. There's also a step-up royalty scale. The more oil it produces, a higher royalty payout you get. You can either take a step-up royalty, or you can take a working interest where you actually own the well. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. What we're going to do next is we're going to talk about 3 more questions, and then we're going to give closing remarks to each of the candidates. So the next question is, do you feel our tribal court is effective, and why? Brent?
And what I see now to this day is, no, it's not very effective. We do have people passing judgment on other folks that are not qualified. To this day, I don't see the court systems following what they're mandated to. Tribal court is also funded by contract. They get contract funds just like the correction center, law enforcement, so does tribal courts. When you get that funding, they got a blueprint they set up, and you're supposed to follow that. And to this day, they haven't. I see a lot of things going wrong with dependents that go through there. When I was up there, a lot of the officers used to get mad at me because I would side with the dependent. And the only reason I've done that is because that dependent had rights too. And I've seen that tribal court wasn't pushing things they were supposed to do. You're supposed to have a public defender there to help them. There's not a public defender. You'll get turned away. You'll be told to get your own attorney. Those are wrong. You get federal funds for that. So no, I don't think tribal court is very effective at all. And I told them that. I still got friends that work in there. And I tell them that you guys need to get up to snuff. Here we go, right back again. Who's tribal court's boss? Judicial. So those types of questions need to be presented to judicial. So now the courts need to beef it up. They need to be stop violating enrolled members' rights and whatnot. So thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
I'm gonna have to trust Frank on that one, because unfortunately, I haven't had to deal with tribal court. But I do know that as far as a representative for our community, that if those kinds of things are going on and they need to be addressed, most definitely I would make sure that they, you know, that I would have my 2 cents in on what types of things need to be changed. Thanks.
Thank you, Keelan. Bernard?
I pretty much say, fortunate that the judicial system should have a part in this. They should hire the right people, the people that are qualified, and they should have the right people, basically, And then, like Frank said, they don't have anybody representing them over there. It's just like a kangaroo court. They just run them in, run them out. If you have the money, well, then you get out. If you don't have the money, you're staying for the night. The police officers, they're judge and jury. It shouldn't be that way. It should be, they should protect and serve and be fair and not take sides in any way. Whatever it might be. That's what I believe in.
To strengthen our court system, we go back to Constitution revision, separate our judicial from our government. This needs to be done. If we have separation of powers, our judicial system will be that much stronger. Having a regular tribal court, but also having a Supreme Court above our tribal court would really strengthen our tribal law system here in the 3 affiliated tribes. Then again, we need housing. We need housing for these lawyers. We need housing for our public defenders. We need housing for the workers. So once we separate the powers from the government, from our judicial, we can start moving forward and create a nice justice system that will be fair for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. A little change up in the questions here. We want to get more of the questions to the candidate. So what we're going to do is we're going to give each candidate is going to draw a question out of there. You got 3 minutes to answer. And at the end of that, in your closing remarks, if you want to respond to the other questions, you can do that in your closing remarks. So what we're going to do is pass the questions up for each candidate, take one. Remember it, don't throw it away, just in case you have to read it. Another day, the candidates respond if they want to in their closing remarks, just to get more questions in. Don't throw them away, not people, just in case somebody wants to respond to the other candidates. Okay, first up, we got Frank. Frank Phillips, let's give him a round of applause, Frank.
Okay, the question is, why didn't we have famous Dave's tonight? No. The question is, in what ways would you report the budget to the people and inform them and give them reports? That's always the biggest issue. We go right back to the thing about pointing again, being uninformed, we don't know what's going on. And that means whoever's elected needs to be there. I mean, how else are you going to find out what's going on? And I think that representative needs to come back and meet with the community boards, meet with the seniors. And I know there's a lot of questions they ask at these meetings, and how else are they going to find out if you're not there? And I also believe that if whoever's elected should have at least one day out of the week to sit here in this building or at the senior center as a representative day. And those kinds of questions can be asked, because I know there's a lot of issues, everyone's got different issues and whatnot, but always seems to be the bottom line is, where's the money going? Who's getting the money? Those types of things, but we don't have anyone around to ask. So I think designating a certain day out of the week with the representative is mandatory to come and sit here at this building and visit with the people, answer their questions, and if you can't answer the question, find it. You know, get on the phone, that's what your staff is for. Get the answers for them. And then of course I still believe that it needs to be a quarterly report. However long their quarterly report is, there should be a full report coming back of tribal funds. We're not talking personal stuff. I mean, that's your business. We don't need to publish that stuff. But we're talking tribal enrollment funds and enrollment issues. That's what needs to be printed. I don't really think that the tribe should have a gag order. I know a lot of these things they don't like getting out into the public. They say it messes up business and whatnot, but as enrolled members, we're all sitting here, we have the right to know what's going on up there, and I strongly believe that we should know, and whoever needs to do that, when they come back here and report, I'm a strong believer in that, so people know what's going on, and there won't be rumors floating around, we won't be blaming each other and pointing fingers. So it's very important, getting the reports back here, having a representative day, aside from publishing reports and getting them back here. Gary is the community manager. Maybe they should have a weekly agenda sheet there, that things they went over during the week, since the tribe don't have minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
My question is, what do you plan to do about water rights when it's geared towards the Corps of Engineers selling water to the tribe? This one is a good one. This one really upsets me because there are, I guess, trust responsibilities that are owed to us. That is our water. First they flood us, then they take the water back. I mean, come on, we need to get ourselves educated about what our sovereign rights are. We need to be able to educate them and just stand up and tell them what it is that they are doing that is not appropriate. Trying to sell us our water. That's just ridiculous. I would definitely make sure that I would understand what is going on and help the chairman fight for this one. Thank you.
Bernard, how important is the future for our children to you? And what will you do to express this? I thought of this a couple ideas. I'll give you one, like our kids, we never think about them, and I'm not putting the seniors down or anything like that, and we always get that $500, right, Fred? The seniors get it, and I'd say this, I'd put something in paper or have somebody else back me up on this, would be our kids in maybe Head Start. Just give them $500 in a CD, and they have to graduate in order to get that and have a diploma in their hand before they can receive that money. That's what I would do.
Thank you, Bernard.
How do you plan on improving our police and safety in our community? Well, first of all, what really needs to happen is we have a school right across from the Elders Senior Center. We need speed bumps there. Sometimes you see trucks flying through there. I've heard Dick say that a few times. We need these speed bumps placed in that area so these trucks can slow down. We also need the lights that they record the miles per hour when you come through. There's kids playing all over the place. We need to implement these speed precautions. That's the first thing. Next thing is, we do, again, need 2 police officers. We do need 2 police officers. We do need a bigger budget for our law enforcement. Thank you.
Okay, what we're going to do right here, we're going to have closing remarks for the candidates. You could answer the questions of the other candidates if you want to, or you can just go over with your closing remarks. We're going to give each candidate 5 minutes for their closing remarks. First up on the list is Frank. Frank? Let's give Frank a round of applause.
My closing remarks is I want to thank everybody for showing up. It's too bad that we don't have more people here. This is going to be a real important time this next term, whoever gets in there, to set the framework for our future, kids' future, and whatnot. So we have to take it very seriously. And I do stand before you telling you, like before, that if I said something, I'm a man of my word. I have no problem coming and visiting with you. If you have an issue, problem, I would be very glad to sit and listen with you, because I take pride in being one of the all-time great listeners, and I learned that from law enforcement, like I said earlier. So there's a lot of important stuff coming up, and I think that we all should get out and visit with different ones. Everybody's priorities are a little different, and kind of come up with a general consensus how we want White Shield to function. So, like I said, I want to thank everybody. I do need your support. If I do get elected, it doesn't matter if you voted for me or not. I'll work hard, just as hard for you, for anyone else in here. I've been at that level before, been administrator many years up there. So I've been in that kitchen where you can take a lot of heat. I guess that's what I'm going to do, is promise to work very hard for all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Any closing remarks?
I'd like to thank you all for staying late and hearing us through, and for all of the questions, and to say that between now and November, I think that we should get together and come up with a plan. We all kind of said that in one form or another, so that when we do get to the table, we'll be able to present something now. If you didn't know this now, that people are asking for a strategic plan. And I think that we're really far ahead than most of the communities in the counties or the reservation. And I think I think we need to take that plan, refine it a little bit, and decide together what we need, and send it to Newtown and start getting those budgets developed. And don't sit around anymore, because there's some pretty energetic people in Newtown, and the word on the street is that they got their stuff together. They're already planning this new road and detouring it around the town. I already know that people are planning their businesses, and they'll probably get them. They've got their business plans established. They're getting the support. The other thing I wanted to say is we all have skills in this community, and we need to strategize with those skills. We need to have people in positions in Newtown, similar to the position that Fred has. We need people in all those key positions, like in environmental, in the judicial side of things. That way we have people there already coming back here and also fighting for our needs. I really believe that. I really believe that we need to strategize that way. And I look forward to seeing everybody on Sunday. I didn't get to go through my slides, but I'm a very detailed person, so I have a lot of things that I still want to tell everybody about my plans and how I see things working for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank everybody for coming and listening to all the candidates. And my deal is I plan on working hard. No matter if I win or lose or whatever, I plan on working with you no matter what in this community. I'm going to be here. I'm not going to move or anything. I plan on whatever it may be and whatever wins, good luck. And, I would be more than welcome or listen to any of your, whatever you want to say, talk, I'll support you. I need your help. I'll do whatever's on your mind. You know. I'd like to thank you again for everything, and good luck on everybody. And let's make this, everybody stay positive, a good, clean campaign for the 18th. And that's being positive, and we need to be more together. Pick the best one you choose, and good luck to everybody.
Thank you,
I want to touch on a question here that Tina had. That was my question. Water rights. We have a doctrine called Winter's Doctrine that was created in the early 1900s. That created Indian Reserve water rights. That kept us our water for time immemorial. We were here first. But there was another amendment that came in 1952. Anybody flying to Las Vegas ever? Think of that, but the airport's called McCarran. You should hate this guy. He created the McCarran Amendment. The McCarran Amendment is that all water rights, Indian Reserve water rights, must be adjudicated in state court. So that puts us really at a bad situation here, where we know that the state has and is gonna put their, I guess their claim to their water rights. They want to be a player. We want to be a player, so we have to go to their state court and adjudicate this. in a bad situation. Army Corps of Engineers, I don't believe I think they're full of crap. I believe they need to give us those 23,000 acres back. They need to give us those acres back. They promised us this. You know what else they promised us this? They promised us free electricity. You know what that free electricity comes from? You get WAPA credits. Western Area Power Association credits. You know how much these credits are? They only take like probably 10 cents out of your electricity bill. And it's allocated to different homes. There's a lot of homes actually that get WAPA credits. And that comes, from the free electricity. And I think the school gets WAPA credits too. But it's only cents to $1. So we need to start fighting for our rights. Like I said before, when I was here Monday, we fight about the small things. We need to fight about the big things. There's major things out there we need to fight about. And that's why I'm here today. Because our fight is not here. It's up there. It's in DC. We need to fight for what's ours. Thank you.
We'd like to thank the community board. We'd like to thank everybody for coming out, listening to the candidates. Good luck, Fred. Good luck, Bernard. Good luck, Frank. Good luck, Tina. Pick the best person, the best issues community. Hope that you guys will fight for the right for our people. And remember that. What Bernard said, this is after this is all over, let's come together, work together as a community, and better. And by the way,